Here we go. 8.6a. Now, every single chapter, we do some sort of solving in that chapter. This is no different. I see a lot of people on their iPads. You'll want to get off your iPads and watch this. Take some notes. Don't. Yeah, there you go. All right, we're good. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to solve rational equations. So you've solved all kinds of stuff. You've solved logs and exponentials and absolute values and quadratics and all kinds of stuff you know how to solve. We're going to do rational equations now. Remember what a rational expression is? It's all the stuff we've been doing this chapter, the fractions. So we're going to do these two different ways, A and B today. One way is going to be something called cross multiply. And you're going to feel very comfortable doing this because you've done it before in Algebra 1. You've cross-multiplied to solve. Now, cross-multiply only works when you have two fractions and they're equal to each other, or two things and they're equal to each other. You can make anything into a fraction. So if you have something like, ew, that was gross. If you have A over B equals C over D, okay? You know how to solve this. Like if we were going to solve for A or D or C or B or whatever, you know that you just take these and you cross-multiply them. You learned this back in Algebra 1, that A times D will equal B times C. You just rewrite it over to here. And now you don't have any fractions and it's much easier to solve. So that works when you have a fraction equal a fraction. So let's do some of those. Here we go.
Ooh.
I know, right? Number 1. We're going to solve for x. So 5 over 4x is equal to 2. Now, I did mention that it's a fraction equal a fraction when you cross-multiply, but sometimes things aren't fractions, but you can always get them to be a fraction. For example, yes, 2 is the same thing as 2 over 1. So I have 5 over 4x equals 2 over 1. I'm going to take these and I'm going to cross-multiply and solve. Do you remember doing this in Algebra 1? Yeah? So you get 5 times 1 is 5, equals 4x times 2 is 8x. Perfect. Divide both sides by 8. So x is 5/8. You can leave it like that. You can write it as a decimal, whatever you want. Okay? All right. Number 2. All right, that was a nice little warm-up problem. Let's do a harder one. Are you ready? What about 3 over x plus 2? And they tell me that that's equal to -1. All right, same thing. Okay, put a 1 underneath the -1 so that you have two fractions equal each other. And just take those and cross-multiply. So, here's the tricky part, though. When you cross-multiply here, see this -1? It needs to distribute to both of the terms down below. So you're going to go -x minus 2 equals 3. Would you have known that if I didn't tell you that? Yeah. I saw some of you guys go, yeah, we know this. That was, you like, Okay, so now let's go ahead and solve for this. So let's add 2 to the other side. -x equals 5, so x equals -5. And you can even check your answers if you're super extra like that. Some people are like, nope, But like on a test or quiz, don't you want to know if you got it right? Okay, so if you plug -5 back in, 3, what's that?
That's why you grade it.
Oh, yeah, but what if you wanted to know? Like, I don't know, some people do.
Live life on the edge.
That's true. Then don't check your answers. Who's Larry? Number 3.
What if he was a crab? It'd be so much.
Your grandpa's name's Larry?
He's not here Wednesday.
Oh, cute. Oh, for Broadway?
Yeah.
Fun.
You'll be able to pick him up because he walks just like my dad with his back.
Oh, does he live in Michigan?
Sometimes.
Okay. All right. 3x minus 4 over x plus 1 equals 5. All righty. Let's do it. You want to try this one on your own? No?
Sure.
It's that Monday lazy feel, huh? Mondays, am I right?
This week's actually going to go by pretty fast because since we have no school on Friday. We get out early on Thursday.
Yeah, you get out on, oh, I know, you have such a great week. Especially those of you who aren't in Broadway.
We get out. We have 1 town.
All right.
Broadway is fun though.
It is. It's so good. All right, we're going to cross multiply. Here we go. 5 times x plus 1. Don't forget to distribute. Okay, you can write it as 5 parentheses x plus 1, but you don't need to do that step. We're beyond that. We're better than that. We can just go ahead and distribute right away. So I get 5x plus 5 equals 3x minus 4 times 1, so 3x minus 4. All right, don't forget, please show work. Whenever you're solving equations, you write the problem down, you work down the column on your page. Yeah?
So that's not the end answer, right?
No, we got to find out what x is. So, subtract 3x. Where's the 4? Right there? We're good? Oh, yeah, I'll get to that. Oh, so we'll subtract 3x. We get 2x plus 5 equals negative 4. Subtract 5. It's been a little while since we've solved one like this, huh?
Ooh, we got a little road rage.
2x is negative 9, so x equals negative 4.5 or negative 9 halves, whatever you want to write is fine with me. Pretty good, right? All right, let's do one more of these, and then we'll move on to part B. Now, the next one, though, there's actually going to be a teeny bit of a problem with this one. I'll show you. Suppose you have 5 over x equals 10x over 50. So it's not alarming. Everything looks great so far. Really good. Maybe this one isn't a problem. Well, we'll find out. No, actually, I don't think this one is a problem. All right. No. This one's a little bit tougher, though, than the other one. So cross multiply. 5 times 50 is what? 250?
Yeah.
Equals 10x times x is? 10x squared. Ooh, we got a quadratic to solve. Divide by 10. So I'm going to write it the other way. X squared equals 25. And then when we have a quadratic, what happens? You get how many answers? 2. This 2 right here says 2 answers. Plus and minus 5. They both work. 2 answers for that one. You don't like that?
No, it's okay.
Okay, let's do part B now. Yes.
How many questions?
Part B, 5. 5. All right, now for part B, they're going to be different. It's not going to be a fraction equals a fraction. There's going to be more than 2 fractions, okay? So the key here, what you want to do is you want to multiply by the LCD, the least common denominator. When you do that, what's going to happen is that is going to then clear your fractions. Okay? Nobody really likes fractions except for my son Andrew. But other than that, nobody, not too much. And when you're solving equations involving fractions, it's hard. So, let me go ahead and show you what I mean. Number 5. Suppose now we're trying to solve this. 1 over 2x minus 1 over 5x is equal to 1/2. Now, this is a totally different problem than the last 4 that we did. The last 4 was a fraction equals a fraction, and we cross multiply. You can't cross multiply here. There's 1, 2, 3 fractions involved. So my suggestion to you, this is the way I've always taught it, is what you're going to do is you're going to multiply both sides of this equation by the LCD. Now let me tell you what the LCD is. The LCD is if you were to try to combine 2x, 5x, and 2 all under one common denominator, what would that common denominator be? Do you know? 10x. You would need a 2 and a 5, and there's the 2 over here, and then you'd also need an x. That was what was warming you up to do this lesson. So we're going to multiply everybody by 10x, every single term. Now when you're multiplying fractions, remember the 10x is going to go to the top of all of them. Okay? So here we go. Take 10x and multiply it times 1 over 2x. You will get 10x over 2x. And I'm going to fix that in a minute. Okay? Over here, 10x times 1 over 5x is 10x over 5x. We're going to fix that in a minute too. And then here, every single thing, remember, in a equation, whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. So this becomes 10x times 1 over 2. All right. Now we just made our problem even worse, didn't we? We made it complicated. It's gross. But we're baking here. We just cracked some eggs open. You got to make a mess in the kitchen to get the problem right. So here we go.
My friend can't crack an egg. So one time I was making
Oh, my little six-year-old can. He's so cute. All right. X and X will reduce. And then what's 10 over 2? 10 over 2 is 5. Yes. Okay, let's look over here. X and X reduce. And what's 10 over 5? 2. And then over here, how does this 10x over 2 reduce? 5x. See what we just did? We made it super complicated, but then all of our fractions ended up reducing. And now we have this to solve. So we get 5 minus 2 is 3 equals 5x. And then divide both sides by 5. So the answer to x in this problem is 3/5. I know, right? That was tough. We're going to do some more of those. Number 6. All right, same idea, same kind of thing. Here we go. We've got 5 over x plus 3/4 is equal to negative 7 over 4x. All right. We're not doing the super hard ones today. We're going to save those for tomorrow. So don't be sick. Don't miss tomorrow. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to multiply everybody by the LCD, the least common denominator between these three fractions. Do you know what that is? 4x. Sometimes that's hard to figure out, right? We need an x and we need a 4, and so the whole thing's going to be 4x. All right, so we're going to take that 4x, which is really 4x over 1, okay? And we're going to distribute. So we're going to multiply all the numerators by 4x. So let's do that. I get 5 times 4x is 20x over x plus 4x times 3 is 12x over 4 equals negative 7 times 4x, negative 28x over 4x. Is everyone okay with that step? Yeah. Okay, all the numerators, not the denominators, but all the numerators get that. And now we get to do some slashing again, because that's, the best part of this chapter, really. Slashing. Yep, the x's reduce, leaving us with 20. Over here, 12x over 4 is 3x equals, x's reduce, negative 28 over 4 is negative 7. Okay, now let's solve. Subtract 20 to this side. 3x equals negative 27. So x equals negative 9. So good. Did you like that one?
Yeah.
Yes. Kind of cool.
It worked out nice.
Okay.
There was a decimal or a fraction.
Yeah, I know. That's why I like that one too. It came out to an integer. All right, number 7. If you think you got it, here's where you don't. Here we go, number 7. They get harder. All right. X minus 10 over x equals negative 3. Gross. I'll tell you why this one's bad. You end up having to do a quadratic. Anytime you get quadratics, like x squared, it gets more difficult, okay? So everybody that doesn't have a fraction, just put over 1. So now they're all fractions. And what is the LCD out of all of these? It's just x, isn't it? It's a 1 from here and here, which you don't really need, and an x. So we're going to multiply everybody by x. X over 1. All the numerators. Okay? So here we go. x over 1 times x becomes x squared minus 10 over x times x is 10x over x. Okay, all the numerators are getting this x equals negative 3x. Everyone okay with that step? Okay. Now these x's reduce, leaving us with a quadratic. Anytime you have a quadratic to solve, you want to, and it has 3 terms like this, you want to bring all the terms to one side. So that we have x squared plus 3x minus 10 equals 0. And this is when you're going to solve a quadratic, and we learned 5 ways to solve a quadratic. My personal favorite is solve by factoring. If I can't factor, I go to quadratic formula, which, shh, don't tell anyone, I hate the quadratic formula. Shh, don't tell my fellow math teachers. They might like it. All right, so here we go. Let's factor this. You're so good at factoring now, right? What times what's negative 10 adds up to 3?
Negative 5 and negative 2.
Good. Positive 5 and negative 2. And so my answers to this equation are going to be negative 5 would make this 0. See how we're trying to figure out what would make this factor 0, what would make that factor 0, and 2. And this one has 2 answers, this equation does.
So negative 5 and 2.
Yep, negative 5 and 2.
Nice.
So from here, see, this is equal to 0. That's the key to all of this. If this is negative 5, everything will be 0. If this is positive 2, it makes everything 0. All right, number 8. So many today. But these are really fun, aren't they?
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or you're actually being for real.
Oh, I'm being for reals, but you probably don't think so. For reals, though. 2 more. 2 over x squared equals 6 over 4x minus 1/4. Do you want to try this one on your own? Okay. I'll do it with you. I get paid either way, so. But I enjoy them. I'm not here for the money. We know this. I'm here for my summers off. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead, multiply all the way through. Just kidding. I actually miss you guys in the summer. I do. You make me laugh and smile so much.
Why did you write it?
You come in and you say, Miss Price, what are those shoes you're wearing? Those are ugly. And I think it's so fun. I'm like, you're right. Yeah, your vids are trash. I miss all that. I really do. I miss the abuse. I do. I think so. Okay.
We're going to be balling when we graduate. But
Oh, yeah. There's the new kids that come up. They'll do the same thing to me. Yeah. All right. So, no, they're not the same. All right. I'm going to multiply everybody by 4 and what? X squared. You're right. Good. Okay. You need a 4. You can see you need the 4, but you need an x squared. X squared. You got to go with the bigger one. You have x squared or x. You got to go with more. X squared. All right. So let's do it. You ready? All the numerators are going to get multiplied by 4x squared. So I get 8x squared over x squared. Ooh, I can't wait to reduce that. Ooh. Okay. Equals 4x squared times 6 is 24x squared over 4x. That's going to be tough to reduce, but I think we can do it. Minus
X squared.
4x squared over 4.
How'd you get it to be 4x
Yeah?
squared?
Okay, so I looked at all of these. I need an x squared, and then I need a 4. I don't need another x because I already have the x squared. That's included in there. And then I already have the 4 for that one. All right, so now let's reduce. Here we go. The fun part. Bye-bye, x squares equals 8. Yes, isn't that fun? What about this one? What does this reduce to?
6x squared.
Yeah, no? You almost had it.
6x.
Just 6x. One of these x's reduces, and you're left with 1, and then 4 goes into 24 6 times. And then over here,
Minus x squared.
minus x squared. All right, once again, we have a quadratic to solve. Okay, my suggestion is if you ever have a negative x squared, let's just bring everybody over to the other side and make that a positive. So let's add x squared over. Let's subtract 6x plus 8 equals 0. Is everyone okay with that? All I do is bring everybody over to the 8 side this time. You have to get it equal to 0 when you're solving a quadratic. And then hopefully they're factorable. I make them factorable on a quiz because I want you to factor. I don't want you to have to do quadratic formula since I hate it so much. All right, what times what's 8 adds up to -6?
4.
Perfect. -4 and -2. So then my answers, plural, would be 4 and 2. And you know, you could go back to the original equation and check to see if they work, but it's a little hard to plug those in. All right, last one. Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
It's the hardest one yet. Number 9.
Number 9.
7 over 4x plus 2/3 equals 5 over 3x plus 5 over 6. Oh, I saved the best for last. Just like dessert, right? Do you eat dessert at the end of every meal? No, that's just weird. I like to ask at the restaurants, like, can you bring the dessert tray over? And they show me, I'm like, no, I'm good. Just, you know.
Dessert tray?
Oh, yeah. I went out yesterday to a Greek place, and they had this dessert tray and had baklava.
Yeah, that's the best.
So good.
Wait, isn't there a book called I Heart Bach or something?
Is there? I Heart Baklava?
Or movie or something. Something.
I love Mediterranean food. Oh, so good. Okay, here we go. We're going to multiply everybody by the LCD. That might be the hardest part about this lesson right here, especially this problem. 12, yes, 4, 3, 3, and 6. 12, and what else? X. Wow, good job. 12x. Do you see that? I'm going to need an x because both of those have one. And 4, 3, 3, and 6, their LCD, the smallest number they all go into is 12. Okay, now let's take that 12 and multiply all of our numerators. 7 times 12, what is that? 84? So, 84. 84x over 4x plus 12x times 2. So 24x over 3 equals 60x over 3x plus 60x over 6. So don't forget, only the numerators get this 12x. Everybody else, all the denominators all stay the same. Now let's do the fun part. Here we go. Our x's are going to reduce here, and 84 over 4 is what? 21. Plus 24x over 3 is 8x. Good. Equals this one, x's reduce, leaving me with 60 over 3 is 20. And then over here, I get 10x. Okay, now I have a much easier equation to solve, much more manageable. We did this at the beginning of the school year. I would start by subtracting 8x to the other side. 21 equals 20 plus 2x. And then subtract 20 over to the other side. 21 minus 20 is 1 equals 2x. Finally, divide by 2, x equals 1/2. Don't forget to write the equation down, show your work in a column form, and circle your answer. 24 minutes.